Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video from the Purple Penny. My name's Mark. This is
Catherine.
We own and run the Purple Penny, which is a coin and banknote dealer in the northern suburbs of Adelaide. We're in a suburb called Mawson Lakes, about 15 minutes north of the city. We've been doing these videos for about 5 years. Here in the shop we buy and sell coins and banknotes and collectibles that come in over the counter. We're also a authorised dealer for the Royal Australian Mint, who are Australia's source of circulating coins, and they also make collectible coins. There is a release coming up this Thursday. Thank you. What's been going on in the last week? Well, the gold price is still up nice and high, as is silver, so we've been going through a lot of gold and a lot of silver coming in over the counter and going back over the counter. But I guess the big thing, or the two big things, are the mint release on Thursday, which is a $2 coin, and there is a C mint mark and a roll, and I believe it's the first roll since 2022. We talked about that this morning. I think it is. And then, of course, on Saturday we've got the Australian Coin and Banknote Expo, South Australian Coin and Banknote Expo, which is on this Saturday and Sunday at the Torrens Parade Grounds. So we've been preparing on and off for that for the last few weeks, and took the jump on Friday of turning the website off so that Catherine here actually has time to do some stuff for the expo. Otherwise she's just mailing things out all the time. So if you are looking to buy things off of our website, it will be back online next week sometime. Right, let's jump into the news here. So the Adelaide Coin Expo is this Saturday and Sunday. Gold coin donation for entry, $10 cash for parking on site. The Festival Plaza tram stop is about 200 metres away if you want to get the tram from the middle of the city. There are also a number of bus stops just along Kingwithin Road next to where we are, and there'll probably be parking available, over in the parklands, which is free. So if you are going to come along to that and you don't want to pay the $10 parking fee, there's plenty of other options. We just received notification a few minutes ago, and thank you to Alex for pointing this out to me, and good luck reading this text because it's so tiny, of the Royal Australian Mint coin swap. So they're having a $100 bag there, and you can just see all the details on there. If you can't read those, just head over to the Royal Australian Mint Facebook page and the details are all there. That's also on the Adelaide Coin and Banknote Expo Facebook page. So there's a bunch of coins there in the $100 bag, but I guess of more interest at the bottom there is a 2024 $2 circulating coin War Animals Remembrance bag. It's got 5 coins per sachet, so that's $10 face value. So that is the coin that's being released this Thursday, and those bags are going to have 5 of the circulating examples in there. I'll just remind you that of a few things. The coin swaps for the mint are cash only. You cannot pay with card for the coin swaps, and that includes FPOS. It is actual actual cash money. Almost always there will be purchase limits apply, and our experience is that those limits are quite restrictive as the swap starts, and then as the weekend goes by the limits get loosened up a bit, and the mint doesn't bring over their entire stock of coins, so there will be a limited number of those things available. What does that mean? It means that, if you rock up late on Sunday you may not get anything. So if you are going to come to the coin swap, keep all those things in mind. The other thing is with the Torrens Parade Grounds where the expo is, there are 2 entries there, and the Royal Australian Mint lineup will be on the left hand side of the building. The general dealer section will be on the right hand side of the building, so if you want to do your coin swap, line up on the left. If you want to look at the good stuff, line up on the right. Next item in the news is the RAM releases for this Thursday. Did you want to run people through these?
You didn't say any hellos to anyone yet.
No, shall I say hello to
I think
people?
you should say hello to people.
I'm so rude. I told you everyone, she makes me look bad. Now, Hello Sam, Peter, Greg, John, Ted, Ray, Justin. I hope you're well, Justin. We haven't seen you for a little while. PC Supercore, whose name I always forget. Antonius, Gary, JJ, or Junior. Daryl, one of our shop regulars. Gwen, Brett, and Mark. Now, I'm not sure that I've seen you join us before, Mark. Welcome. Hello, Tanya, and hello, Lee. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. Right, if we just jump into the releases here, did you want to talk about the releases, Kath?
The release on Thursday.
Yes.
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 Okay, we're talking about War Animals Remembrance, which is a purple poppy. It's going to be a coin that goes into circulation. Therefore, we will have dealer-only rolls. The rolls are what? How many rolls are they doing, Mark? Can't read your sign.
No, well, the
15,000.
Yeah. No, 15,000. That's the information I got from the mint. So 15,000 rolls at $100 each.
Well, the slide there is incorrect because it says mint mark. So
that's copied
the
from
coin rolls are a non-mint mark coin. They're the circulating coin. They're an uncirculated circulating coin. In a roll, they're $100. What did you say? 15,000 mintage.
Mm-hmm.
That's not that many. The C mint mark, though, in a card. C mint mark. Purple poppy. In a card, they're going to be 100,000 of those, which is right up there with the mintage, highest mintage yet. What did we say? The last
80,000.
The last one, which was the Vietnam, was 80,000. So, that's a pretty high mintage, and demand will be high, but that's a pretty high mintage, so don't panic and pay too much on the secondary market if you don't get a hold of one. Although there is a fine silver proof coin, and that's going to be the harder coin to get, mintage of only 7,500. We didn't get very many of those, so unfortunately we've had to not take any further names for those. And we don't like saying no to people, so don't ask. But go in the ballot for that one. It's sure to be very popular, just like the silver Vietnam was. So that's Thursday morning, 8:30 Eastern time. What's that, 8 o'clock Central time? We won't have any of those on our website. We are flat out getting organised for the expo. We're going to deal with all of that next week. You may come and line up on Thursday at the shop. If our stock has arrived, we will have those available. If our stock hasn't arrived, then we wait.
They won't be available till next week if we don't get our stock by Thursday.
Wait. Yeah. Yes.
So just watch out on our Facebook page about whether the stock will be available in the shop. That's where we'll notify everyone of that if you are here in Adelaide. And as usual, we expect good behaviour from people on the line, and purchase limits will apply. If our stock does get here, there will definitely be no of the silver coins available over the counter. Lynn's just saying there, are the rolls $2 coins, please? Yes, they are. Yes,
so the interesting thing about the stock arriving so late to us, and that's a result of people pre-selling and all that kind of thing, the hype and the increased prices. The stock getting to us late is the Rams' way of trying to avoid all that kind of thing, is people selling before the date and the stock getting out there before the release date. So there's nothing we can do about that. We've just got to hope it gets here before Thursday.
Yeah, and I'll just re-emphasise what Catherine said about the C mint mark coin in the card. 100,000 is a lot, and there's a good chance that they'll be fairly readily available. So don't feed the people on eBay who have pre-sale listings up with pictures of nothing that are asking hundreds of dollars for coins that you'll most likely be able to get next week for this week for release price. So please don't encourage those people on eBay.
And beautiful purple poppy coin. We've completely neglected Psychedelic Countdown.
Oh yeah, so
the coloured 50-cent piece that's also being released on Thursday.
Yeah, 50th year of Countdown, and I would say right up there in the running for the hilarious colour coin I've ever seen.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty psychedelic, that's for sure. Right, I think that'll do for that. What's we've got some just comments here. Greg is saying there were 85 silver proof pre-sales on eBay for $400 each. Well,
and those will, you'll make that purchase, the seller will cancel it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no...
Yeah. I'll tell you, the motivations of those people is purely to profiteer. A lot of them will never have the coins, so they're making sales for things that they hope they have, and the standard practice is that they'll try and sell them for $400 and then they'll see the price on other sales at $600 and they'll just cancel the sales on you. So my advice with those things is don't chase the prices upwards, and maybe think about just saving your money for something else, or waiting several months and seeing if the price settles back. But
think about something else for a while.
Yeah.
The silver Vietnams now, look, I'm not even following that, but aren't they around the $500 mark just now?
Yeah.
And they rose right up past the $1,300 mark.
Yeah, they've fallen back all the way. So yeah, just don't be scared about missing out. If you miss out, you miss out, and life goes on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, just with regards to our opening hours this week with the expo, we're open from 9 to 12 on Friday. So that's special hours for Friday. We're only open for the 3 hours. And we are closed on Saturday to go to the Coin Expo. As I've already said, the website isn't accepting orders at the moment, so that we've got some time to just get on with other stuff. Please, if you need something off the website, just be patient. It will be back online next week. And don't come in on Friday afternoon or Saturday, because
we'll be packed up. The place will be empty.
Right.
We'll be doing a run down to the Torrens Parade Ground, taking all our one load of stuff. There'll be multiple loads of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So I do apologise for that if it causes any inconvenience, but it's just what it has to be. Right, in news around the world this week, several months ago I talked about the Zimbabwean government releasing a gold coin in an attempt to stabilise the economy and stop people spending Zimbabwe dollars on US dollars. The Ghanaian Mint has done the same thing. They've released 3 different pure gold coins. Ghana is the biggest gold producer in Africa. Their currency, the cedi, is crashing out, and locals are spending their currency on US dollars. So the Treasury has stepped in with these gold coins and has made them available through official banks in Ghana, and you can only buy them with Ghanaian cedi coins. That's spelt CEDI, and if I'm mispronouncing that horrifically, I do apologise. So you have to buy these from a bank in Ghana using the local currency. The daily price is set based on whatever the London fixed price is for gold on that day, and if you choose at some time that you don't want that gold coin anymore, then there is a set buyback price at those banks as well. So this is an effort by the government to stop people spending the local currency on US dollars and having those US dollars leave the country, and by providing this gold to local people to save, and by offering a really good buyback price, they're hoping that that currency will stay in the country. Now, they haven't actually released a picture of both sides of the coins yet. That picture you can see there is a screen cap from a video of the Ghanaian treasurer who announced this last week. So interesting gold coin there. Probably going to be very difficult to get hold of them because they are only available in Ghana. So the next story for today is one that Catherine brought up in the car. This is wrong paint errors on $2 coins, and you probably know that wrong paint errors on $2 coins are those coins where the paint is applied to the wrong side, usually the obverse or the head side. These errors have been happening for 7 or 8 years. We sold a couple not long after we opened, over 5 years ago. And I guess what's interesting about these is that At one point they were selling for several $1,000s. Then someone figured out how to make admittedly very bad fakes of them, and just in the last few weeks one of the Paralympic $2 coins showed up with the paint on the wrong side. A journalist at Yahoo Finance got hold of the story. He interviewed me and a few other coin dealers and then approached the Mint about it. And as far as I'm aware, this is the first time the Mint has commented officially on these wrong paint $2 coins.
So hang on, that in the car driving along, I'm looking at the news on my phone, and there's a headline, and okay, I fell for it. I click on the headline. The Mint responds.
Yes.
To what? Expensive bullseye paint errors. The Mint responds. Okay, I better read that.
Yeah, this sounds interesting. We better read that.
Here I am reading it. Oh, they've quoted you, Mark.
Yeah, so I was quoted in that particular article. But the Mint responded with something insightful and very informative. Without being able to inspect the coin firsthand, it's impossible to confirm. So really, they didn't say anything.
That was the comment. Yeah. That was the Mint response.
That was the Mint response. If you're wondering how they happen, these coins are minted without the colour on them, and then the Mint uses an automated system to actually turn the coins up the right way, put them in trays, and then the trays are put through a painting machine where the colour is applied. And the automated system for turning the coins up the right way, you can see a picture of it on the right hand side there, which I lifted from a video on the Rams Facebook page. That automated system is not 100% successful, so every now and again one coin goes through there with the head side up and gets the paint applied on the head side. Now how many of these are around, I don't know. Maybe there's a few a million. I suspect that it's probably that sort of error rate, so we're not talking about a lot. In our opinion, they're still worth thousands of dollars, but only perhaps half of what they were worth 10 years ago or so.
They're very fragile though, because the paint isn't supposed to. There is texture under the paint on the reverse side embedded in the design, and you know, the Queen or the King now is a nice flat smooth portrait, and he's not intended to have paint stick, so it's very fragile and the paint won't stick.
Yep, that's right. We might just jump over the next news item and jump to the last one, just being conscious of the amount of time that we've used up already.
We talk too much.
Yeah, we do talk too much. Interesting bit of information that popped up on the Royal Mint website this week. The Bank of England website. The Bank of England is one of the oldest central banks in Europe, but it's not actually the oldest. The oldest is the Swedish Riksbank, which was formed in 1624. And funnily enough, they issued their coins on a copper standard rather than a gold standard. And that's because Sweden was full of copper mines. And you can see on the top left there that they issued very large copper coins called plate money. It was called plate money because they were like large copper plates. And some of those large copper coins weighed up to 20 kilos, not the easiest thing to carry around and spend. About sort of 35 years after they were founded, the Riksbank released a bunch of lighter copper coins that had the same face value. And of course everyone went, well, what the heck, we want our giant copper coins back, we don't want these little ones. So there was a run on the bank for everyone to get their huge copper coins back rather than the new little ones, and that caused some of the banks to actually collapse. One of the banks actually hit on the idea of issuing paper certificates instead of real money, and that paper certificate signified that the bank had loaned that person money. And those certificates could then be traded at merchants or deposited in other banks. And of course that is paper money. That's what paper money is. So the Swedish Riksbank issued the first paper money in Europe in 1661. You can see one there on the top right hand side. And why the banks loved those is that it meant that they could actually loan out money now without actually having the money in the bank. So they loved them, people loved them. And the Swedish Riksbank was the first issuer of paper money in Europe in 1661, and it took the Bank of England almost 30 years to issue their own paper money for Britain. So interesting information there on the Bank of England website. Now, today being the last Monday of the month, we usually try to do a Q&A session. And the reason Catherine's here is because the first question we got asked this week is about us. People know that we both collect things.
It's not specifically about
Well,
us, but we are an example.
Yeah, it's often coin collecting is done by one partner or the other. It's not often done by both. Catherine and I have collected together the entire time that we've known each other. So someone asked me earlier last week, what's it like to have a partner who also collects? Are you enablers? Now, an enabler, I guess, is someone who encourages the other person to do things rather than talk them out of it. So I thought that we'd get Catherine in today because she can answer that question. And I'm just staying well clear of it.
Are you?
Yes.
I think that's absolutely correct. I absolutely enable you. Sometimes it's $100, sometimes it's $1,000, sometimes it's $10,000.
And I will say quite happily that I enable Catherine as well. We're lucky, I guess, at this point in our lives that our kids are older and school fees are finished and we've got a bit more disposable money. So sometimes when things come up and we know that they are hard to find and not outrageously valuable, that we just say to the other person, well, just get it. Because sometimes you're never going to see the same thing again. Catherine did it a few years ago with some collectibles from Stuart Devlin. I've done it a couple of times with some military things, but that being said, I did quite happily on the weekend let one military thing go that ended up selling for several $1,000s because even our enabling has its limits. So, this is still a hobby for us and we do have to set limits on things. Spending several $1,000s on things is still a big deal for us, so we don't do it very often.
Not just the expensive things, but there's sometimes when there's one thing and I want it, but you want it too.
Yep.
That can be a little bit challenging.
No, because then it's mine.
And sometimes we have two of similar things.
Yes, that's right. Samantha is here saying, I'm sure that both of your collections are individual and would be great to look at. I think, Samantha, you're right. We used to collect a lot of the same things, but over the last 7 or 8 years, the collections have diverged. But that being said, neither of us really collects the same as what we did 7 or 8 years ago. Our collections have changed considerably, and we both very much go along the axiom of collect what you enjoy. And when we stop enjoying collecting things, we find something else to collect, or something pops up that we didn't know existed, and we get fixated on that.
Did we talk about what I got for my birthday last week?
No, I have not mentioned what you got for your birthday last week.
We shall just jump back to last year when I had a birthday. I got a 1956 Melbourne Olympics commemorative house brick for my birthday, which I love. And I thought there's no way you can do better than that. But this year for my birthday, which was just last week, I got a bolt with a nut. A bolt from the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And it is it's on a card. It says with compliments. With a logo.
New South Wales Government
logo, and it is a specially presented bolt from the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And no, the bridge won't fall down now, it's one bolt. They did make rivets. They sliced up excess bolts and they stamped them, and they're medallions that you can find sometimes, and I believe the bolt is what they've made these little medallions from, and I'm super stoked about my birthday bolt.
Yeah,
and he doesn't collect that, so that's
no.
okay.
But that's the sort of thing that doesn't come up very often. It's not hugely valuable, and if you were to say in January that I want to buy a bridge.
Hang on, it's not hugely valuable. Come on, have you ever seen
if
another
you were
one?
to say, no, I haven't.
There's not.
If you were to say at the beginning of the year that you wanted to buy one of those bolts from the bridge, you'd be lucky to find one in the next 5 years. They're very hard to find. Right, question number 2, which was from David Trotter about pre-Federation money in Australia. Pre-Federation is pre-1901, but technically it's pre-1910. Now, of course, when the colony of South Australia, colonies of Australia had settled down and had constant supplies of coinage from the UK, we just used British money, and regardless of whether the pound was a sovereign from the UK or a sovereign that was minted here in Australia or a £1 note that was issued by a pre-Federation bank, they just had the face value that they did. Now that's when things were stable. When things weren't stable, prices tended to fluctuate, and when there was a shortage of supply of coins here in Australia, they would often trade at above their face value. Other items would trade as currency. For example, the rum hospital in Sydney, which was basically built by workers who were paid with rum. So other things of value were traded, but from what I understand, past 1850, when things had calmed down and the colonies of Australia were fairly stable, we really just traded British currency, one for one. A shilling was worth a shilling, a pound was worth a pound, and so on and so forth. It's not any more complicated than that. Someone asked a question this morning, what's the go with small island nations like Cook Islands and Niue having Australian-based themes on their coins, etc.? I guess it's important to understand that those countries are effectively countries of convenience. Getting a coin minted for a particular country is a lengthy exercise, and we've been sort of made aware if you wanted to commission the Royal Australian Mint to make a coin for you, then that process can take several years and cost hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. But in the 1970s, some people hit on the idea of using small nations in Africa, South America, the Caribbean, and especially in the Pacific, to issue coins directly to the collector market. And here in Australia, the Perth Mint is a big one for doing that. Many of the coins that they issue are not Australian currency. But that being said, they are marketed at Australians or Americans, so they often use themes that have nothing to do with the countries where they come from, but are primarily themes that they believe will be saleable in those target markets. So you do see Kiribati coins with Anzac themes on them, Australian wildlife, and Tuvalu coins with American themes on them, and they are almost always minted by the Perth Mint. The Perth Mint have agreements with the governments of those countries to mint coins on their behalf, and the Perth Mint pays those countries a licensing fee. And if you're wondering how important that is to some of those countries, I looked up some statistics before. In 2020, Niue, which has a population of just 30,000 people, licensing fees from coins and stamps accounted for 6.5% of their exports. So, it was one of their biggest exports. So for these small countries, these the coins that are made for them are hugely important to those people, and often the Pacific Islands are very small and really have no other industry on them. So that's why you see these coins from small Pacific countries with Australian themes on them. Now we've just got 2 more questions here and then we'll finish up. So Catherine wanted to comment on this one. Question number 4 there. I'm new to collecting coins. Are area coins a good investment? I have a few $1 mule coins and about 200 cud coins. Would you like to answer that one?
Yeah, I guess when you talk about buying coins and buying error coins and just being new to collecting, is that you really just want to be looking and learning and reading and finding, because so many people have error coins in their collection and they're not real, they're not genuine. So you need to learn and be educated on how the process works and how error coins come about, and features and markings about those coins that make them genuine, and then also learn about post-mint damage and what that looks like, because you may have so many coins in your collection and they're just not real errors. So I encourage people to just do a lot of reading and learning before they spend money on items that may not be genuine.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that, if we never comment on investing in things on this channel because coin collecting is a hobby. But if you think you can sort of jump into the error coin market and somehow find some bargain or buy things cheap, then a lot of the time you're fooling yourself, because I've been collecting errors for a long time, and so has Catherine, and we know a lot. We know more than almost anyone that comes into the shop about errors, but compared to some people, we know nothing. And the idea that someone can sort of swan into the error coin market and make a killing it's laughable, because there are people that will know a lot more than you, and they'll know a bargain when they see one, and they'll know what's an error and what's not an error. So if you're going to collect error coins, teach yourself, learn, understand, and then maybe in the long run you might make some good buying decisions. But when you get into it to begin with, you are really just paying for an education when you buy error coins. Don't think about it as an investment. So just realise that you're paying to learn. So
you've got to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. You've got to be enjoying collecting the different types of errors. Enjoying their uniqueness.
Mm-hmm. You'll never stick at a hobby long enough to think about a financial return if you don't enjoy it. Because you'll get your fingers burnt and then you'll drop out and go and do something else. That's just how it always works. Right, the last question was from someone who asked, is it illegal to buy and sell counterfeit coins in Australia? And so I went to the Federal Police's website, and on the front page of their website they have this lovely little sentence here: it is an offence to knowingly possess counterfeit currency from any country. They don't get any sort of clearer than that. Now, does that mean that it's illegal to trade in counterfeit coins? I would say that you would definitely not want to trade in counterfeit Australian coins, especially decimal coins and banknotes. But it doesn't take you very long to look through coin dealers' websites and look through ours. We sell counterfeit florins and shillings and things like that. There's a big coin company in Melbourne who makes replica sets of colonial coins and proclamation coins, which are full of replicas. You can buy replica Confederate currency online here in Australia fairly easily. So while it does say on the Federal Police website that it is an offence to knowingly possess counterfeit currency from any country, if you're dealing in old counterfeits of essentially obsolete coinage and things like that, I think you'll probably be alright, but you may want to consult with a lawyer. We certainly have traded in a lot of it, have not got any trouble into any trouble. But when we've had counterfeit notes passed over the counter to us and things like that, we pass those in, and same with counterfeit coins. We don't have anything to do with that stuff. So I hope that answers that for you. But if you're not sure, you'll probably want to consult with a lawyer, and I'm sure they'll give you a very expensive answer to that question. Right, there won't be a video next week because next Monday is a public holiday for
Labor
Day, so we won't be here. Or we'll be packing up from the expo. If you are in Adelaide, please come along to the expo. Probably don't try to talk to us on Saturday morning because we'll be too busy, but come please approach us on Saturday afternoon if there's if we're not already talking to thousands of people. Sundays is usually a pretty chill day at the expo, so if you can hang off and come on Sunday, I'm sure that you'll have a really good time then. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to being finished with the prep, and looking forward to seeing all of our customers. We always have a great time there. Thanks everyone for joining us this week. Thank you, Catherine, for joining us this week and making me look bad. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. So bye for now, everyone.
Bye, everyone.